All right, welcome back. So looking at this particular scenario now, what would you describe as the situation at the moment? Because if the CJN, Justice Onnoghen, is suspended, if Justice Tanko is sworn in as the acting CJN, who heads the judiciary as we speak?
As we speak, on ground, the judiciary today is headed by Justice Tanko. But in the eyes of the law, Justice Onnoghen is still the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
What does that mean?
That's answering the question.
Okay. That sounds like a political answer.
It's not, that's the law. Because if
So if he's heading it and he's not legally heading it, is he really heading it?
But I said as a matter of fact on ground.
Okay.
But legally, he's at the helm of affairs. Sealing up his office and all those are just
Well, do you think that the judiciary can actually recover from this now? Because if one Justice of the Supreme Court attended, if all branches of the NBA in Nigeria didn't hit the streets in protest on this matter, if there is a division by extension, how does the judiciary recover on this one?
I do hope, and that is why the National Executive Committee deliberated exhaustively on the issues before we reached the points that we reached, because we must take away sentiments and all political considerations and look at the matter objectively, which is what we have done. In doing this, we have carried along all the various stakeholders in neck, and hopefully we won't get to the point where the judiciary will be unable to recover from it. It's a process. It's very sad that we're having to go through this, but I know the judiciary will come out of it stronger.
What are your recommendations?
My recommendations are that for our democracy to grow, we must simply sit down at all times and do just what is expected of us by law.
No, I mean with respect to the suspended Chief Justice.
Our expectation is that the CJN be recalled back by the executive arm. And if, like we read in the papers, they have now filed complaints against him before the NJC, then they can take the process from there.
I'm just wondering, because I know that, justices, they usually don't speak to the press on some matters, but if there are some quotes ascribed to the CJN saying that he hasn't resigned, in terms of the processes, where does that fit in the scheme of things?
That fits in the scheme of things because...
Should they be making that statement?
Yeah, well, I'm not...
no, assuming he made it. If he did, should he be saying it?
He's saying that in reaction to a question, like you're asking me, has the CJN resigned? And he says, no, I have not resigned. And then it's headlines. So,
but should it come from him or his spokesperson?
As the head of that institution, remember, if you say the man is suspended, you have probably also suspended all the mechanisms that are available to him. The spokesperson perhaps may not be in a position to speak on his behalf, because his personal staff, I understand, that have not been allowed to...
No, but they can still be quoted, rightly or wrongly. But the thing is, because if he is quoted to have said this, there are those who will interpret it as though he's digging his heels in. And that may not necessarily be in the interest of the judiciary and by extension maybe the country.
It may not be in the interest of the country, but he's stating the fact as it were, so that Nigerians will know, so that the whole world will know that I have not resigned. If that is the option that was offered to me, I have not exercised it.
But we've gotten to this point where in this whole discussion where the lawyers are boycotting courts for the next 2 days, and the Senate, in this case, is suing the federal government on this matter.
Yes.
Are they taking a step in the right direction?
Yes. The whole thing about due process is to ask for an interpretation from the courts. In this case, the Senate has gone to before the Supreme Court to say, tell us whether what the executive arm has done is right or wrong.
But can they go to court when they have not come back to plenary?
The leadership of every institution can take decisions on behalf of that institution and report back to the body of the whole eventually. But you cannot simply say, like the NBA, if there's an emergency, there are certain decisions that the president can take and report back to NEC. Now, but if you have to wait until you can convene a meeting of the whole and all that, then you won't be able to deal with the situation.
Is this a delayed tactics, do you think, heading towards 2019, if you will, that is being perpetrated from both sides?
It's quite unfortunate that we're having all this come up a few days to the 2019 elections, because judiciary plays a very vital role in the adjudication of the matters that will come out of that election. And then here we are, having a very unstable judiciary a few days to that election.
Is it unstable, really? Because Tanko is in charge, you just said so.
Well, let's not reopen that matter. He's in charge. I haven't said so. I haven't said so.
No, you said that. When Chamberlain asked you if it's Onnoghen that will be considered to be in charge now, or is it Tanko that will be considered to be in charge, you said that legally Tanko is in charge, but
legally no. Legally, Onnoghen is the CJN. I had said that repeatedly. But as a matter of fact, factual situation, the powers that be has said no. This is the occupant that we recognize.
So that means the judiciary is not just on auto drive. I mean, it's been headed by Tanko.
That's why I'm saying that it's unfortunate that we are finding ourselves in this situation a few days to the 2019 elections.
Let's wind down now with a couple of more questions, because I mean, when you initially, when I did ask you that now that the NBA is asking that he be reinstated, the matters are in court, but now that this is the first day of the court boycott, second day, which will be tomorrow. Is the NBA still going to insist on that, knowing fully well that, well, the matters have gone to court?
This is the first step. The boycott of courts is the first step in...
No, if you're continuing your insistence on him being recalled, what becomes of the question before the courts determining this matter?
The question before... We are mindful of the fact that the matters are also before the courts. And that is why the boycott, for instance, is for 2 days. When the courts resume, and hopefully so, the Court of Appeal is going to make a pronouncement as to the legality or otherwise of the matter going before the CCT. And if that is determined, that will bring us back to a point where it will be convenient for all of us to say we're hitting the road again.
So, you know, in the context of or consideration of when they say justice must not just be done, it must be seen to have been done. So for onlookers who are thinking, but the judiciary doesn't seem to be focusing on the crux of the matter, what do you say to those people?
The judiciary is very focused on the matter, and that is why even the matter before the Court of Appeal has had a very early date, so that these matters can be disposed of very timeously. I am sure the other matter that has gone before the Supreme Court will also receive the same speedy attention, so that Nigerians will know, before the elections perhaps, who heads the judiciary.
All right, Jonathan Taidi, Secretary General of Nigerian Bar Association, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.